Next, we will see how the diode characteristics is going to depend on the temperature. So here, basically, there are different characteristics. So once we see this characteristics, VI characteristics, basically. So here we can see in the forward bias, once we are applying positive diode voltage, we can get initially a zero current. Once it crosses the knee voltage, it will be having increased current, and that current will be having an exponential relation with the applied drain voltage. Okay. Similarly, in the uh, reverse bias case, initially it will be zero, but as we are increasing the reverse bias voltage, this current will be such that from zero it will be saturated to a constant value. So that constant value will be considered as your reverse saturation current. Even if we are applying the higher reverse bias voltage, it will be saturated. But beyond a voltage in the reverse direction, if we are applying greater voltage beyond a certain voltage, that is called a breakdown voltage, then there will be sudden increase in reverse bias current. So that point will be your breakdown voltage point in the reverse direction. Okay. So in just we can see. So in forward bias, basically the current that is available here is that is in milliamperes. In the reverse bias case, what your current will be flowing, that will be in microampere, or it will be in nanoamperes. Okay. So some questions might ask in objective directly, like what is the magnitude of this forward current and reverse current. So that will be in milliamperes, and in reverse it will be micro or nanoamperes. So here we will see, like, if we are going to increase or decrease the temperature, what will be the effect on the characteristics, VI characteristics of the diode, basically. Okay. So there are different points that we need to consider. So one is this IS, that is saturation current. Okay. And then forward current. So this forward current, how this forward current is going to change, that we will also see. And this knee voltage. Okay. Knee voltage, we will see, like, or cut-in voltage or knee voltage, we can say. So what is the effect on cut-in voltage or knee voltage if we are increasing or decreasing the temperature? Also the forward voltage, how the forward voltage, like drain forward voltage, this diode forward voltage is going to vary with respect to temperature variation. And also we will see how this breakdown voltage is going to vary. Okay. So from this graph we can directly see, like, first we consider the saturation current, or just for variation we can just take, like, this is blue graph is basically at, sorry, hello, कोई क्वेश्चन है, क्वेरी है? यस, हेलो, यस, आवाज आ रही है सबको?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So this blue curve is basically at 25 degrees centigrade. Okay, so this curve is basically at 25 degrees centigrade. Now we are going to increase the temperature by 100. Suppose we have increased the temperature, so here we are going to increase the temperature. So we can see, if we are going to increase the temperature, the graph, what was blue color, that is going to shift to the left side. Okay, so this large dashed lines are basically at plotted characteristic plotted of diode at 125 degrees centigrade, which is around 100 degrees centigrade larger than the initial value. Okay. So the shift, how much this shift will be? So this shift will be basically calculated by, like, 100, because 100 degree shift is there, multiplied by 2.5 millivolt per degree centigrade. That means if we see this diode characteristic in forward bias condition, if we are increasing the temperature, the graph will be shifting to the left side, and that left will be for 1 degree centigrade, it will be shifting by 2.5 millivolt. Okay, so once we multiply with 100, we can get like it will be shifting to the left by 0.35 volt. Okay, so 0.35 volt shift will be taking place to this graph to the left side. Okay, similarly its opposite will be in once we are decreasing the temperature. Okay, so same, we have decreased the temperature by 100 degrees centigrade, so it is minus 75. So similar, the same shift 0.35 volt shift will be taking place in the right direction. Okay, so this will be with respect to temperature decreasing. This is the case in forward bias case. And also we can see like the cut-in voltage or the knee voltage that is there, initially it was here, but once we are increasing the temperature, the cut-in voltage has reached to the lower value. If we are going to decrease the temperature, the cut-in voltage has reached to higher value. Okay, so some points we can conclude. So some points that we can conclude like on this curve, uh, curve in forward bias. So this curve in forward bias will be shifted to left by 2.5 millivolt. It will be shifted by 2.5 millivolt per degree centigrade. Okay, so if we are increasing the temperature, the shift will be in left side by 2.5 millivolt per degree centigrade. Here basically we are increasing the temperature. So with respect to the curve, next we can see with respect to the cut-in voltage, or we can call it knee voltage. So in case of knee voltage here, once we are increasing the temperature, this knee voltage will be shifting such that for 1 degree change in temperature or 1 degree rise in temperature, basically this cut-in voltage V gamma we can just represent it. So cut-in voltage will decrease by around 2.5 millivolt, or sometimes it is called 2.3 millivolt also per degree centigrade, or we can just consider 2.5 millivolt. Okay, so for 1 degree rise in temperature, the cut-in voltage will be decreasing by 2.5 millivolt. Okay, the next is like the forward current. We can just see what is the effect on forward current. So basically this forward current is given by IF, that is equivalent to IS, that is saturation, reverse saturation current, into e to the power Vd divided by nVt minus 1. This was the forward current. This was the exact equation. So for simplicity we can write like in forward current we have already said it could be like Is e to the power Vd divided by nVt. Okay, so this minus 1 will be very less compared to e to the power this minus Vd by nVt, so we will be neglecting. So this is the forward current. So here basically in case of temperature increase, this I saturation or reverse saturation current increases. Okay, but once we are going to have an effect, so just we can come to later into this point. Okay, so we will just see before going with the forward current, we will see like what is the effect on saturation current. Okay, so IS, that is reverse saturation current. So basically reverse saturation current, the effect on reverse saturation current will be it doubles every 10 degree centigrade rise in temperature. That means if we are increasing the temperature by 10 degrees centigrade, IS will be doubled. Okay, So this is the effect on the reverse saturation current. So we can just see from the graph also. So initially this was the blue line was at 25 degrees centigrade. Similarly, at 125 degrees centigrade, the reverse saturation initially was 1 picoampere. Once we have increased to 125 degrees centigrade, it has come to 1 micro ampere. Okay, so 1 microampere means it has increased. Okay, so every 10-degree rise in temperature will double the IS. So in that respect, once we have increased the temperature, the IS will be increasing with this relation. Okay. Similarly, the next point that we can consider is VD, that is drain diode voltage. So basically, what is the effect on the diode voltage, or we also call it as a forward voltage. So it will be forward voltage or diode voltage basically. So here its effect is for 1 degree rise in temperature. For 1 degree rise in temperature, basically this VD will be decreasing by 2.5 millivolt, or sometimes it is called 2 millivolt. Okay, so in some points it has written like it is 2 millivolt, and in some books it is 2.5 millivolt. So basically we will go with either of these two. So okay, so by default we will be proceeding like 2.5 millivolt. Okay, so in a similar way, like in case of this cut-in voltage, also it varies with 2.5 millivolt, or sometimes it is varies with 2.5 2.3 millivolt also. Okay, so if we want to have a preference, we can give to 2.5 millivolt. Okay, so this is how the forward voltage varies and the cut-in voltage varies with 1 degree rise in temperature. Okay, so once we have gone through this, now we can see what is the effect on the forward current. Okay, so here, so forward current, we have the expression like I forward is equals to, the approximate value is Is e to the power Vd divided by Nvt. Okay, so this is the approximate value of the forward current. So if we compare like how it is going to depend on the temperature, so here basically Is, that doubles every, we have seen here, so Is doubles every 10-degree rise in temperature, and also this Vd. So Vd is decreased by temperature. Okay, so it decreases, and in similar case, if we are decreasing the temperature, the Vt value will also be decreasing. This Vt value will also be like if we are decreasing or we are increasing the temperature. If we are increasing the temperature, this Vt value will increase. If we are increasing the temperature, this Vd value will be decreasing. So one of the component is decreasing and another component is increasing with increase in temperature. So overall the effect will be like it will be decreasing because the Vd value will be affecting more to exponential power. So overall this E value or exponential value will be decreasing. So in case of forward current, depending on the temperature, it is considered as like a constant. Okay, so the basic idea why this forward current is constant, because this forward current is basically because of the majority carriers. Okay, so because of the majority carriers, this forward current is there, and once we are going to increase the temperature, if we are increasing the temperature, there is the majority carrier concentration is basically does not affect does not vary on the temperature basically. So in case of minority, once we are increasing the temperature, minority carriers will be varying very rapidly, but in case of majority carriers, the effect on the majority carriers will be very less. So it is almost like it is considered like majority carriers will be constant. So once majority carriers are constant, the current forward current will be constant. Okay. The next we will see is a breakdown voltage, the effect on breakdown voltage. So from the figure also we can see, so once we are increasing the temperature, the breakdown voltage is going to increase. So like if we are increasing the temperature, then breakdown voltage will also increase. Okay, so these are the different effects on the diode characteristics. The next point we will say, like, what is the difference between ideal and practical diode basically. So here, this is the diode. If it is an ideal diode, once it is forward bias, it will be working as a closed switch. Okay, if it is reverse bias, it will be like an open switch. Okay, so if this is the case, with respect to this, if we plot the characteristics, so this blue line will basically give you the ideal curve, ideal diode curve. Means once we are having we have applied a positive voltage or just a zero voltage, it will be having a current, current flowing directly. That means it will be behaving like a closed switch. So at zero voltage, it will be turned on. And if we have applied voltage less than zero, then always whatever voltage less than zero is there, uh, to an whatever value, so that in negative direction or in negative half of this VD, the current will always be a zero. So current is always zero, that means it is like an open circuit. So this is the representation of an ideal curve. So ideal curve will be at zero, it will be having the current, whatever sufficient current it will be having, and at zero, uh, at negative voltage, it will be having constant or zero current. Okay, so in case of negative, the current will be, id will be zero, at, and when vd is equals to zero, the current will be, uh, whatever value current will be flowing through the circuit. Okay, so this was the ideal. And in case of practical, so this is your practical curve. So practical curve we have already seen, starting with a zero. Once it has reaches to the knee voltage or cutting voltage, it will be having an exponential increase in the current. Okay, so in reverse bias case, it will be having a constant current, that will be a reverse saturation current. Okay, so initially it will be zero, and then it will be saturated to a reverse saturation current. Okay, so this is ideal and practical diode basically. So we can differentiate, we can just conclude some points with respect to that. So basically, if it is, if it the case, like it is closed switch. Okay, so this closed switch will be behaving like a, in case of forward bias, and in case of reverse bias, we can just see. So in case of forward bias, it will be having like a short circuit. Okay, in case of reverse bias, it will be behaving like an open circuit. The diode will be behaving like an open circuit. Okay, so in forward bias, whatever current will be like a high forward current will be flowing, and in case of a reverse bias, very low reverse current will be flowing, and this will be always like it will be a zero in case of ideal case. Okay, and in on case, it will be like short circuit, or we can call it on switch. It will be like behaving like a switch, that will be in on mode, and in on mode only current allows in only one direction. That means, what is the difference between a diode and a switch? So ideal diode, okay, versus a switch. So if switch is there, that means if it is open circuit, no current will be flowing. The current basically will be zero. If it is closed circuit, the current can flow either in this direction or this direction. This is the case of a switch. But in case of ideal diode, it is a closed switch or a short circuit case. but the current will only be passing from positive to negative. That means the current will only be having one direction. So this will be the direction of current. So the basic difference between an ideal diode and a switch is like the same. In forward bias case, the current will be flowing in only one direction from positive to negative in case of ideal diode, and in case of switch, the current can be transmitted to any of the direction. Okay, so this will be having like an on switch. In reverse bias case, it will be an off switch. So the difference between switch and this can also be considered. So if it is an on switch or if it is a short circuit case, so if it is short circuit case means the resistance here we can say it is having, it will be having a zero resistance. In open circuit case, it will be like an infinite resistance will be there. Okay, so this ideal and ideal characteristics from the curve also we can see. So from the curve we can see, if we case find forward resistance, so resistance will be given like id vd by id, so voltage divided by current. So in case of forward case, the vd is always zero. That means whatever voltage is there, if we, even if we are increasing the voltage, this will be current will be flowing only at 0 voltage. So vd equals to 0, and current will be, suppose whatever 10 milliampere is the current. Okay, if this is 10 milliampere, so this will be like a 0 ohm. So in forward case, the resistance will be given as a 0 ohm. From the ideal curve, we can see in the reverse, we can just see in the reverse here, the resistance will be given by like vd by id. So vd is a value, so suppose a 20 volt value is there, divided by a current is 0. So from there we can see like it is infinite. So from the curve also we can see the value of resistance. So it is, if it is 0 ohm, it will be short circuit. If it is infinite, it will be open circuit. Okay, so this was the ideal and practical diode. Next we will see what is diode resistance. So if based on the application of diodes, so in the later lecture we will see what is the application of diode. So basically once a diode is being used in particular operation or particular application, it will be either having a DC load or an AC load. So based on the AC and DC load, it is, it's a circuit is represented in its equivalent form. So that equivalent form will be basically decided by the equivalent resistances. Okay, so basically this diode is having different resistances. So we will see also what these resistances are. So basically the first one is called the DC resistance, or we can call it a static resistance. Okay, so here DC or static resistance is basically uh, obtained when we are applying a DC voltage to a diode circuit, and whatever the result is there on the by using the characteristic curve, that will be without changing the time. That means whatever DC voltage we are applying, so to a diode we are applying a DC voltage. Okay, so we are going to apply a DC voltage, and at this DC voltage, once we have applied the DC voltage, what will be the current flowing through this? So with respect to particular DC voltage, we are having some current. So we can say from this curve, like if this is the characteristics VD and ID, so at particular VD, suppose at this point of VD or at this particular VD, so at constant VD, what is the current ID that will be defining the DC resistance. So the basic formula of DC resistance like RD or RDC we can represent. So RD is basically at particular DC voltage VD, what is the current, like that current is ID, then the ratio of VD divided by ID will be given by your DC resistance. Okay, So here the DC resistance at knee voltage and below will be greater than the resistance level defined for the vertical region, basically. Like suppose this is the knee voltage or cut-in voltage. So below this, the RD will be greater compared to the value of RD here, okay, in this section above the knee voltage. Okay, so that we can just verify by the below example. So we have an example. So here we need to suppose find out the different DC resistances. We need to find out, suppose this is a question. We need to find out the different DC resistance levels for a diode for different currents. Okay, so suppose this is the curve given, and we need to find out the first. We need to find out the DC resistance at ID equals to 2 milliampere. So suppose this is the 2 milliampere at which what is will be the ID. Sorry, what will be the RD? Okay, so RD will be VD divided by ID. So at particular, suppose that ID equals to 2 milliampere. So we have 2 milliampere at the ID, and at that particular time, what is the VD? So VD is 0.5. This is 0.5 volt. Okay, so from there we can find out the value of this RD. Okay, so from there we can just see it will be divided by 2, that is 250 ohm. Okay, so the next we can see at ID equals to 20. So ID equals to 20 milliampere. What will be the value of VD? So from there we can find out RD. So till 0.8 divided by 20 milliamperes. This is in volts. Okay. So from there we can just see it will be 800 divided by 20. It is equals to 40 ohms. Okay. So that means at particular DC voltage, what is the current? So that current is 20 milliamperes. So with respect to DC voltage and DC current, we can get the value of DC resistance. Okay. Similarly, we can get like at VD equals to minus 10 volt. Okay. What will be the resistance? So we need to find out. So at voltage minus 10 volt, the current is constant 1 microampere. Okay. So RD will be VD divided by ID. So here VD is 10 minus 10 volt divided by minus 1 microampere. Okay, so minus 1 microampere, that means this minus minus will cancel out. It will be 10 to the power 6 or 7. So it will be 10 to the power 7 ohm, or we can call it the RD is equals to 10 mega ohm. Okay, so that means, so suppose this is the knee voltage, your knee voltage. So above knee voltage, as we are increasing, so the resistance RD given at this point is 250. As we are moving above, or as we are moving higher for higher VD, we can get like at this point the RD value is 40 ohm. Okay. Similarly, if we are coming downward to this cut-in voltage, we can see at this point it is 10 mega ohm. So in the previous case, like once we are moving above this cut-in voltage, the DC resistance will be decreasing. So here DC resistance is going to decrease, basically. We can have the relation. So here from this way, it is DC resistance is going to decrease as we are moving to this direction. Similarly, if we are moving in opposite direction from here, from gum there, this RDC will increase, basically. So this was the DC resistance. Another resistance we can see, the second one is AC resistance, or we can call it dynamic resistance. So basically this dynamic resistance, so in the previous case we can see, just noted like this will be the case only when DC voltage is applied. Here when we have just applied only the DC voltage, then only this DC resistance will be calculated. Okay, so once we have applied the DC voltage, we will be finding out this DC resistance. Basically this is found out at the DC operating point. At DC operating point, what will be the resistance, we can find out by using the that DC voltage, and with respect to that what is the DC current. Okay, similarly in case of AC resistance, here with the application, basically here we will be applying the AC signal. So here with the application of sinusoidal varying AC signal or an input, whatever instantaneous operating point is there. Okay, so in case of DC voltage that we are applying, so here suppose this is the curve. So at particular point at DC, we were having the constant operating point, but now we are going to apply an AC input. So we are going to apply an AC input means we are going to apply an input that is varying. Okay, so now at the diode we are going to apply a varying input. So with respect to that we will be getting a current. So because this is your VD and this is ID curve, so with applying varying DC voltage, varying AC voltage, we will be getting a resultant current that will be an AC current basically. So here we will be getting an AC current with respect to that. So once we are applying and varying AC voltage, we will be getting the varying AC current at the output with respect to its ID VD curve. Okay, so here when we are applying the DC voltage, the DC was a constant. So at that particular time, whatever DC we have applied, a particular operating point was there. But in case of AC, if this AC is varying, then different operating points will be there. So this was the initial point. With respect to that, the operating point will be ranging from here to here. So this was the initial operating point. With respect to that, there will be a variation in operating point. So with respect to this variation in operating point, whatever the range of current is there, so this is the change in current with respect to the input varying input we have applied. So this is the variation in total variation in current, and the total variation in voltage at this particular range is this is the total variation in voltage. So with respect to the varying input we have applied, what is the variation in the input voltage, that is VD, and with respect to that what is the variation in output current, these two terms will be defining the dynamic resistance or AC resistance. So basically this AC resistance is given by, so this AC resistance is RD. So this AC resistance is given by change in drain voltage, or change in diode voltage divided by change in diode current. Okay, so basically the condition for this is like this will be happening only when we are applying an varying input, or we are applying an AC voltage or varying input to the diode. So we are applying a varying input to the diode, then this will be the case. Okay, so once we are applying the varying input, the operating point will be varying. So with respect to operating point variation, there will be a variation in applied input voltage range, and the similar we will be getting output current that will be varying with respect to the input variation in the input voltage. Okay, so this will be the AC resistance. So basically, if we have not applied any varying signal, then the operating point will be called Q point, and it will be determined by the applied DC voltage. So here in the previous case, this was the case. So here is like, suppose this is the case, we are applying only the DC voltage. Okay, so here only DC voltage is applied. Suppose this DC voltage is whatever value it is, 1.5 volt. So this 1.5, with respect to this 1.5 volt, whatever the current is there, okay, so whatever current is there, suppose 20 milliampere is there. So with respect to that, this point, that is 1.5 volt VD and 20 milliampere, so this point will be called Q point. Okay, so Q point, or we can call it operating point. So this Q point and operating point, so Q point is called a quiescent point. This is quiescent point, means the point that is still, that is not varying. Okay, that will be like DC point. Okay, a Q point, a quiescent point, operating point, we can say. So that means the circuit, whatever circuit we are applying, going for the analysis, at constant DC level or constant voltage, at which there is no variation in the voltage there, that's point at which the all the calculations will be done to the circuit, that is called a quiescent point. So there is a phenomena by which we can define this Q point. We will see that later. Okay, so here we have just find it out what is the AC resistance basically. So some points we can see. So at a lower Q point, so if suppose this is the Q point, so in this case this was the Q point, and with respect to this Q point, there will be a variation in the input, and the with respect to that there will be a variation in the output. Okay, so with respect to this Q point only, along this diode characteristics, the input will be varying. Okay, because we are applying varying input signal. Okay, so if the Q point, suppose we are going to operate the same at lower point, Q point. So if the lower Q point operation is going to be done, that means there will be a lower variation in the voltage and the current. So if that means if we are going to have like either the voltage will be lower or the current will be lower, with respect to that we will be getting this AC resistance. So this AC resistance will be high as we are going to move from uh, a Q point to a lower value. So if we are going to move to a lower Q point, we can see the variation basically. So if suppose we are going to have this point, so with respect to that, the variation will be find it out. Okay, so this variation will be this, and the current variation will be this. So from there, it has been observed like the variation, this VD value will be reduced. This VD, with respect to this VD value, this ID will be varying very high. So with respect to that, the RD value, so that means the AC resistance basically increases as we are moving to the lower of the Q point. So if we are moving the Q point to the lower direction, the AC resistance will be increasing, or AC resistance will be higher. Okay, so we can just see like we can just see for lower for lower Q point, the RD or the AC resistance will be higher. Okay, so this AC resistance is basically we are here just with respect to the formula. It is the differential change in input and change in the output. So this is basically derived from the current equation of the diode. So diode current equation is ID is equals to IS e to the power VD divided by NVT minus 1. This was the diode current equation. So once we need to find out the differential uh, input voltage divided by the differential output current. So to find out this relation, we need to differentiate this with respect to the drain voltage. So on both sides, we are going to differentiate. So once we will be differentiating, we can find like this RD will be differentiation of input divided by differentiation of the output, that is ID. So that is coming out to be NVT divided by ID. Okay. So from there we can say like RD is equals to, once this N value is generally considered as 1 in case of silicon. So basically once this N value, in general cases we can put the N value as 1, and we can put this VT, that is thermal voltage at room temperature, is 26 millivolt. So we can just write like at room temperature RD will be this, or RD will be having an inverse relation with the drain current. So this will be the case when N is equals to 1 and Vt is equals to 26 millivolt. Otherwise, this will be the general equation in case of RD. Okay. So with respect to that, we have a question. We can see. So suppose this is the characteristics of a diode given. We need to find out the AC resistance. Okay, and this AC resistance for ID equals to 2 millivolt and ID equals to 25 millivolt. So at these two values, we need to find out the this AC resistance, and also we need to compare the results of part A and part B to the DC resistance at each current level. Okay, so here basically the values that we will be finding out, like, so suppose at A, if we are going to find out the current, we can just see. So to find out the DC AC resistance, just we need to find out the current at what particular current we need to find out this AC value. So here at that particular current, we will be just drawing a tangent, or we can just draw tangent to this current point, and from there we can just see what is the variation in the input. Okay, so with respect to the variation in the input, we will be checking uh, like how these inputs are varying. So basically, so this is the ID. So suppose at particular ID, that is 2 millivolt. So at this 2 millivolt, this is the point of 2 millivolt. At this point, we will be drawing a tangent. Okay, we will be drawing a tangent. So at this tangent, we will be getting two different currents. Okay, so suppose 2 millivolt is there, 2 at this 2 millivolt, 2 millivolt higher than this 2 and 2 less than. So it will be like uh, we can just say whatever a constant current we are just going to differentiate. So once we have drawn this tangent, plus 2 millivolt to this value and minus 2 millivolt to this value. So if we find that, so it will be coming out to be 0 and 4. So at ID equals to 2 millivolt, sorry, 2 milliampere. At this 2 milliampere, we will be adding a constant current +2 and -2. So it will be like 4 milliampere and 0 milliampere. So at this 4 milliampere, what is the value of VD? And at this 0 milliampere, what is the value of VD? We need to find that. So by finding these two values, we will be finding these two voltages. So these two voltages, once we have found it out, suppose this is V1 and V2. So with respect to that difference in this voltage will be like dVd. So dVd will be like V1 minus V2, and the dId will be, so change in ID will be like the 4 minus 0, that is 4 milliampere. So from there we will be getting the Vd, and from there we can get the value of change in ID. So once we have the ID and Vd, we can get the RD. Okay, so from there we can get the RD. So this is how we will be finding out the AC resistance. Okay, similarly in case of, like, suppose in second case at 25 millivolt milliampere current. So at this 25 milliampere current, we will be drawing a tangent. Okay, so once we have drawn the tangent, we will just see, like, suppose +5 milliampere and -5 milliampere we have drawn. So at ID equals to 25 milliampere, we are just going to make it 2 plus 5 and plus -5. So it is 30 milliampere and 20 milliampere. So at this 30 milliampere, what is the value of Vd? And at this 20 milliampere, what is the value of Vd? So that is V2. So from there, we can see, like, the change in Vd will be V1 minus V2, and change in Id will be 30 minus 20. Okay, so from there we can find out the RD. So this is how we will be finding. This is once there is given characteristics. From there we can find this AC resistance in this manner. And one more resistance is there, that is called average AC resistance. So basically the average AC resistance that will be calculated when the input signal that we are applying is very large. Basically that means whatever the input signal that we are applying is significantly large to produce a broad swing, like the swing is like very high, so that we will not be able to get the two different points. So in that case, what we will be doing is we will be just going to calculate the average uh, AC resistance or average resistance. Okay, so in that case we will just take two different I can say steps. So suppose this is the curve. So in that curve, we will be just considering two different points, any 2 point, and with respect to that, what will be the VD and ID. From there, we can find this change in VD and ID. From there, we can find the AC resistance, that will be an average AC resistance. Okay. So this will be done when whatever input signal we are applying, when input signal is applied, when very high input signal is applied, such that it is going to produce a broad swing in the output. Okay, So the output swing is very high, then we can just apply the AC average AC resistance concept. Okay, so that is very least important. Okay, so only AC and DC resistance is most frequently used in all the cases, so we will not be considering that into that case. So one more point we would like to see the diode equivalent circuit. So in case of ideal case, we have already seen. In case of ideal diode, if it is forward bias, it will be behaving like a short circuit. If it is reverse bias, it will be behaving like an open circuit. Okay, so if a diode is an ideal diode, we can say like the forward resistance. So if it is in forward bias case, so forward resistance will be 0 ohm. Okay, because in forward case it is short circuit, so it will be having a 0 resistance. And in case of reverse bias, the reverse resistance will be like it is open circuit in case of reverse bias case, so its resistance will be infinity. So resistance will be infinity. And also in case of forward bias case, once we are applying the up value such that once we are applying the 0 voltage, then only this will be a short circuit case in case of ideal diode. So here the cut-in voltage or the knee voltage in case of ideal case will be a 0 volt. Okay, so this was the case in case of ideal case. In practical cases, in practical diode, we will just see. So in practical diode, if it is forward bias, the diode will be represented by like a resistance with a voltage. So this resistance will be your forward resistance. Okay, and the voltage that will be arising is basically the knee voltage. Okay, so this knee voltage in case of germanium and silicon is basically 0.2 volt. In case of silicon, it is 0.7 volt. Okay, so in forward bias case, the practical diode will be represented by a forward resistance along with a voltage. Okay, in this manner. Or sometimes if this resistance is not given, if forward resistance is not given into the question, we can just neglect it. Okay, so if forward resistance is not given, its value is not given, we can just write it like a voltage. So here practical diode will be just represented by a voltage source only. Okay. So if it is reverse bias, so in reverse bias, it will be represented by a resistance only. Okay, so this resistance will be very much greater than or equal to 1 mega ohm. Okay, so this resistance value will be greater than or equal to 1 mega ohm. So that means we can see this R value will be very high in case of reverse bias. So reverse bias resistance or reverse resistance is basically very high in case of reverse bias. So this is the practical case of a diode. So that points will be used frequently in the coming lectures. So we will be replacing the diode with respect to this equivalent circuit. Okay. So the next point we will see into the next class.